Welcome to another edition of SJHL Weekly. We're here inside the IKS Media Studios. I'm your host, Clark Munroe. We have a great show for you today. We have a recap of 12 games over the weekend, 2 Super Days, a Super Friday and a Super Saturday. So with a lot of movement in the standings and frankly, a lot of storylines coming out of this weekend. So we'll get you caught up with everything that went on over that weekend. Plus, we're going to announce Players of the Week, as we do, of course, each and every week. And we're going to be joined by a pretty cool guest today, assistant captain of the Humboldt Broncos, Marik Mamic, who has a pretty cool story of return from injury this season. And I can't wait to get that from him and hear about his road to recovery and getting back to the Humboldt Broncos this season. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But first, let's thank our sponsors, the Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, who is the sponsor of all of our broadcasts, of course, Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vatterstad. And before we get started with everything else, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, please hit like, please hit subscribe. We're like 80 subscribers away on YouTube from 2,000. And I know for a fact that there are people that watch and watch all of our highlight packs and watch all of our videos that we post on YouTube that have not yet subscribed. So if you have not done that yet and you're watching anywhere really, and you're listening to this right now, please head over to our YouTube channel. If you want to watch the show there, you can, but also hit the subscribe button because we are so close. So we're making a little bit of a push for 2,000, the road to 2K. We're on it right now. This guy should have 10 times that many followers. Jamie Neugebauer joins me today. Jamie, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been a big weekend. Obviously, like I mentioned, 12 games. How was your weekend, though?
Yeah, it was really good. Watched some Olympics.
Yes.
Watched that Rivals documentary on the Four Nations.
Heated rivalry?
Is that, no, not the heated rivalry.
No?
We've been over that, Clark. I will not watch that.
I watched it. It's
if
good.
you watched it, that's your business. But
yeah,
I did not watch it. But I watched the Rivals, the Four Nations.
Right.
And you know what? It was beautifully done.
It's a CBC thing, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It was so well done. And it made me fired up because obviously we all cared so much about that event. It brought up all sorts of emotions for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
But I think about every year in the SJHL in the postseason, people care about, you know, if you're from Melfort, you care about Melfort like that. If you're from Flin Flon, you care about Flin Flon like that. These teams are their towns, and that same feeling on our level and our scale kind of well up every playoffs. And so I just can't wait for whatever, a month and a half away, whatever it is, to bring that back. Because every year I just sort of feel that intensity, that passion that people have for the playoffs in this league. Hey, we're basically in the playoffs for a bunch of teams anyways.
Yes, we are. And we will get into why that is in a moment here. Let's have a look at the Sask Lotteries look back for Friday and Saturday's games as we have a look at the Elk Ridge scorecards for each night. As you can see, oh, look at that. There it is. Now it is. Talk about that. The Nipawin Hawks with a 4-0 win over the Laurent Ice Wolves to kick off the weekend. This is a start of a big week for the Nipawin Hawks. Battlefords with an 8-5 win over Warman in a high-scoring weekend for those two teams. The Orkin Terriers got a really important 5-4 win over the Estevan Bruins. Is it an important win or an important loss? Maybe we'll talk about that. Flin Flon with a 3-2 overtime win against Weyburn, proving that Flin Flon just does not want to lose at home. They found a way against a very good Weyburn team. Humboldt with a 3-2 win over Melville, and then Melfort with this is a huge one for the Melfort Mustangs, a 5-2 win over Kindersley. And then on Saturday, 6 more games, a lot of rematches, but a lot of differences as well. Yorkton with a 4-3, that was in overtime win over Melville. The Battlefords North Stars, a 6-5 shootout win over Warman. Flin Flon doubled up Weyburn 6-3. Humboldt with a very important win, or loss, I guess, depending on how you look at it. 3-2 win over the Estevan Bruins. Nipawin with a 5-4 win over Larange, and then Melfort with a 5-4 shootout victory over the Kindersley Clippers. Again, a huge 2 points. Nugsy, there's so much we can talk about. Let's start with the top of the standings, and we'll move down in our next topic. But for our headlines, which we can bring up now, topic number 1 is home ice wars. There are 4 teams battling for 3 home ice advantage spots in the standings right now, and it continuously changes every single day there's any games. Right now, it wasn't that long ago that the Weyburn Red Wings were in 2nd place. They're in 5th all of a sudden. It's very close, but they're in 5th, technically out of a home ice advantage spot, I should say. They're not out of a playoff spot. But they are out of that home ice advantage spot that they've been sitting in for pretty much the entire season now. So what's going on with the home ice advantage battle right now?
Well, I have joked in various power ranking articles that everybody's just taking their turn going to the Whitney Forum and losing.
Right.
So
Basically.
if you're a Weyburn Red Wings fan, look, there was a lot to like. I watched a lot of that. I think I sent Clark a comment at one point. I said, if these two teams played a best of 11, I'd be fine with it because I could tune in and watch Weyburn and Flin Flon play all day. Those two teams give her. And, you know, I spoke to Mike Reagan. You know, one of the things I love talking about Mike Reagan, and we had him on the show, he'll always give you a good quality, solid, full answer when you ask him a question.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, what do you think? What were your takeaways? He was nothing but praise for the Weyburn Red Wings, the way that they played, but still the Flin Flon Bombers, you know, find a way. They win 3-2 in the shootout, 6-3. You know, they outscore a Weyburn team. Their power play is still clicking. The Bombers did. You know, the Weyburn Red Wings PK did a great job, by the way. And the thing that you watch this Flin Flon power play, so many teams sit back and try to be passive, especially at the Whitney Forum, because they respect the fact that the Bombers can move that puck around so well.
Sure.
But the Red Wings said, no, we're not going to do that. Our identity is our speed. Our identity is get up and in your face. And I think, you know, it did disrupt Flin Flon's power play plenty. So it was a good job by the Weyburn Red Wings in a lot of areas of the game. And they did a great job. But still, again, you know, 60 minutes of hockey at the Whitney Forum and the Flin Flon Bombers win. That's the way she goes.
Yeah.
So there's that. I guess are we going to move on to the other parts of the race?
Yeah,
or just
go for
keep
it.
going with that. I mean,
Goal 2 through
obviously
5 right now.
the hot team, I guess, this weekend would be the Nipawin Hawks probably.
Yeah.
You know, they played the L'Orange Ice Wolves a couple times. I think the whole town of Nipawin messaged me, being like, "Hey, like, did you see that? Like,
Hey,
there's
check this
probably
out."
be some players of the week here from Nipawin." Spoiler alert. I'm like, yeah, no, you're probably right. You know, hard to argue. These guys are passionate, and again, most important thing is Clark and I were talking about this too, is that we really appreciate that people care who the players of the week are and what we're doing. So it was all good. It was all positive from us. But yeah, I've talked about it many times. Mason Karkachuk back up there, and you know, I was watching this Nipawin power play especially pretty closely, you know, over the last little while, and the way that they set things up. And you know, it's really interesting. It's really aggressive. It's kind of 4 guys below the dots for the Nipawin power play, and then you know, you have Raider Wallington and Mason Karkachuk are technically the top of that power play, but it's, you know, obviously Karkachuk is free to go anywhere he wants in the zone for Nipawin. So Raider Wallington better have his head up, which, you know, he has been, or Brady Seabrook, depending on if it's PP2.
What a goal there, too.
Yeah, some beautiful goals, and obviously, you know, great history between Nipawin and L'Orange over the years. The distance between them, not crazy by the standards of the North. So, you know, pretty cool rivalry. And, you know, again, L'Orange continues to play hard in hockey games. Mason Karkachuk, though, 3 goals, 2 assists in the 2 games. And Nipawin continues to be a dominant penalty-killing team. We talked about this all year, Clark, their ability to keep the puck out. You know, they allowed one power play goal on 8 kills over the two games, kept it pretty disciplined, and the Hawks are on a 3-game win streak. You know, and again, we talk a lot about strength of schedule too. People are like, oh, you know, the Weyburn, what's going on with them? Well, you know, they played Flin Flon and Flin Flon. Nipawin played a couple against L'Orange. Again, not to disparage L'Orange, but obviously they're in a different sort of phase of their rebuild, if you want to call it that. So you got to take care of business. We've seen this Nipawin team not take care of business at times this year. Certainly injuries had a piece of that. They are really healthy right now, whereas other teams aren't as healthy. So I think now is really the time, you know, to see Nipawin really kind of rise. Should be very interesting.
Yeah, so we talked about Weyburn. Obviously, they've lost 3 games in a row. We talked about Nipawin. They've won 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
The other 2 teams have also been on win streaks lately.
Yeah.
Battleford's 3-game winning streak. Yorkton, 6-game winning streak. So obviously, we talked about it in the look back there. Yorkton beat Estevan on Friday, which is huge, not only for Yorkton, but a really, I'm almost going to call it devastating loss for the Estevan Bruins.
Yeah.
And then they got their win over Melville in overtime on Saturday, which is, again, they found a way to win in overtime. They've been finding ways to win all these games. This Yorkton team, the way that they're finding ways to win is very impressive.
Yeah.
They've won big, they've won tight, they've won overtime, they've won shootout. They're all over the map. They're just winning games.
Well, it's so interesting. I was thinking about this on the drive here in terms of the roster construction piece of things. So you look at the Nipawin Hawks, you look at the Flin Flon Bombers, you look at even Battleford's, like, the depth of the forwards on those teams are so undeniable.
Yep.
But on the flip side of that is the Yorkton Terriers know so clearly what their roles are. Whereas whether you're on the quote-unquote the third line down on the Nipawin roster sheet, if you want to call it that, or the fourth line of the Battle for the North, does that mean you're not a quote-unquote first liner on a lot of teams?
Right.
Like you are. So it's a situation where the Terriers have very defined roles, and I often find that type of team works out well. I would argue actually that the Flin Flon Bombers have pretty defined roles as well. So that works out. If you can just put out a bunch of lines that you know are going to be terrific, I'm sure nobody's going to complain about that. And that obviously speaks to the job that those teams have done building their squads. But I'm not disparaging. It'll just be interesting to see in the playoffs which one really kinds of wins out. But obviously the Yorkton Terriers have beaten the Estevan Bruins about 1 million times in a row.
Yeah,
now,
they have their number.
They really have their number.
Their
which,
number, yeah.
I'm sure the Estevan Bruins and their faithful are not feeling great right now, but the schedule just could not have been harder lately. So, and
this is the
add
one
the
time,
element of injury.
Yeah, the element of injury definitely didn't help the matter. But I think
Yeah.
this is the one time where I look at a losing streak like the Estevan Bruins are, and we'll talk more about this when I guess next topic when we do talk more about Estevan. But one time that I look at a losing streak and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let off a little bit on this losing streak because of the strength of schedule that they faced and the road trips that they've been on and everything. It has been a tough stretch here for Estevan. They are getting tested. So I don't necessarily blame them, but we'll get to that in the next topic.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, I would say, if you're an Estevan Bruins fan. But again, the Terriers love to come back. They've got weapons everywhere. And the biggest weapon they might have, and obviously we talk about Gabe Corshane a lot, and for good reason, and William Leonard in the second half, for good reason, and Jai for good reason, and you go down the list. Their best player still is Tommy Rees. Maybe Tommy Rees is the best player in the SJHL. I think there's an argument to be made.
Sure.
He's leading defensemen in scoring. He's leading everybody in minutes per game, though I'm sure that's down since the trade deadline, and they made all those really good moves on the back end, though Nathan Gray, pardon me, goes up and down to Swift Current. But the Yorkton Terriers, just really, really well built. Everybody knows where they sit on the bus. That's a line that Jason Tatarnik always used to say with the Estevan Bruins. The best teams have their guys know where they sit on the bus. And the Yorkton Terriers, are very clear in that way. And Tommy Rees, 13 goals, 25 points, 25 assists, 38 points, 39 games as a defenseman, lockdown D, Canada West, didn't take a break. I was talking to Jaron Denway. We talked at the U of R game there that I called, and he said that Emery was saying, you don't have to come to L'Orange right after the Western All-Star Challenge. It's okay.
Yes,
and Tommy was like, no, I'm coming to play. It wasn't like a thing where the coach forced him to play. Like, honestly, Tommy was like, I'm coming. Like, I don't care. I'll go play in L'Orange because this is how much Tommy cares. Tommy cares so much about the Yorkton Terriers that he was not even 100% sure that he would accept to go play for Team Canada.
Right.
Like, because that's how much he cares about winning for. And obviously, Tommy was proud, I'm sure, to play for Canada.
Yeah.
But that's how much Tommy cares about winning a championship in Yorkton, and that's a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
Kid lives with a chip on his shoulder. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's been lights out all year. Can't say more about Tommy. I've been on him for years.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, and it's really coming to fruition for them and Yorkton.
Any quick notes on Battlefords before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it out in the. I think I wrote it out in the both the game recap from last night and the Players of the Week article coming up here. That whenever Battlefords and Warman have come together this year, it's been just an absolute goal fest. I think they're literally. I'm not exaggerating. They're averaging around 10 goals a game. Combined, in games between them. 66 goals in 7 games combined between Warman and Battlefords. Again, Battlefords, found ways to win both games. Again, both games Warman could have won. I speak to Brett a lot. I've talked about that, but a little frustration, not because he doesn't feel like he has talented goaltenders, but just because he feels like the goaltenders haven't stolen him games. Maybe the goalies of Notre Dame kind of used to in the last number of years. Obviously, you think about Spencer Borissos and what he did, and Austin Elliott, and others. But so he doesn't have that. It's hard to blame them per se, because obviously they're both 18-year-olds. So that's only fair for Tate Timmerman and Griffin Wright, who also can't seem to stay healthy at the same time. But at the same time, this Battlefords team talked about resilience. Another sort of heroic, different hero this week. Owen Nelson was awesome. Drew Williamson was awesome again. Couple multi-point games for them, and their power play continues to be terrific, as you think it should, given the personnel that they have. You think about the shooters like Finley Klippenstein up front, and obviously, I saw what Gavin Granger can do on the power play and in offensive situations firsthand at the Viking Cup, and obviously Anthony Campbell has been dynamic all year. So, 14 goals on 92 shots for the Battleford's North Stars over the 2 games. This Warman team is young. We'll talk about them a bit later, but this Battleford's team, by ugly or by pretty, they'll find a way, and certainly don't want to get into a track meet with them because they'll win it.
Yeah. Well, let's bring it back into the studio as we move on to our second topic, which is now the second half of the standings. So we talk about, the race is on is the headline, the title of the headline. I think, Nugsy, we talk almost every year about there being kind of tier sections to our standings groups, and we're finally starting to see that a little bit. You see Flin Flon now with a 7-point cushion in first place, so we'll put them in a category of their own for this moment. 2 through 5 is 61 points to 56 points from Battlefords to Weyburn, from second place to 5th place. And then there's a 10-point gap, and then you see 6th place to 10th place. And it only intensified this weekend because of the fact that Humboldt's winning games and Melfort's continuously winning games, and they've put themselves now right into the discussion. And I think about a week ago, we might have almost thought, hey, maybe Melfort's not going to be able to pull this off. They lost that game to Larange, which was kind of a dagger.
And not only did they lose that game, they didn't look great in that game.
So we kind of thought, like, maybe that's a dagger for them. They might be out of the race now. Nope, they're right back into it with 2 wins this weekend, and Humboldt is only a point now out of a playoff spot with a chance in the next 2 days to take a playoff spot back. Because of the circumstances they put themselves into. So we're talking about, actually, let's throw the the league standings, sorry. Let's throw the league standings up right now, just to have a kind of a look at what I was just talking about here in the tier system, the structure of our standings. So again, Flin Flon, 68 points, they have a 7-point cushion. Then you see from 2nd place to 5th place, it's a 5-point difference between Battlefords, Yorkton, Nipawin, and Weyburn. And then there's that next group, Kindersley, all the way down to Melfort, and that's a 6-point gap there. So again, Humboldt, we'll get into the schedule a little bit later, but this race now, Nugsy, it is on, and it is more intense now than it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. This race is officially heated. It is going to be a fight with teams having, Kindersley's got 11 games left, Melfort and Melville have 13 games left. Sorry, 14 games left. So we have a very small time for these teams to figure it out. So where do you want to start with this?
Well, I mean, again, with the Melfort Mustangs, just again, the conversations I had at the Viking Cup was, you look Zayden Saddlemeyer in the eyes, and it's kind of the same as when you see interviews with the likes of Patrick Mahomes, or so that type of a competitor that like when they say that, they're never going to quit, that they kind of have that heart of a lion, like they are genuine in that. And I think he has continued to be a catalyst for this. It's been very interesting. You talk about the trust that Trevor Blevins has in Danton Cox. Guess who's been partnering Bo Eisner? Been Danton Cox.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week.
And that's worked out. I mean, he had a 4-point game. Danton
he had 6 points this weekend.
Big week for Danton, again on the back end there for the Melfort Mustangs. All on the back end, by the way.
Yeah.
And, again, those games against Kindersley really could have gone either way. They were very tight. Again, I feel like we've said that every game about Kindersley all year, is that they could have gone either way.
Well, look at there. What's so funny, that how many overtime and shootout losses they had in the first 20 games? And they haven't really had any losses, at least, since. So either A, they've been finding ways to win those games, or B, they're just losing in regulation compared to overtime.
Yeah, they're still tight. They're still in
close.
But
Absolutely.
It's interesting. I'm sure, and even they don't really understand, I think, what it is about their inability to maybe get over the hump more often.
Right.
Because we talked about the morale there being good, the team focus being good, the leadership being good. There's no problems with Kindersley. It's just, it's kind of one of those weird things.
They are noticeably dead last in penalty minutes. In terms of the most, I should say they
take penalties. I mean, obviously there are some good characters on their team.
Yeah,
we know that.
We know that. We knew that. We like that about them.
Well, I'm sure they like it when they're not in the box at a key moment in the game. And I think it's also been penalties at a key moment when they're trying to come back and then they take a penalty. I've seen that so many times too. But on the flip side, Melfort did bring in Noah Englot to be a key offensive producer.
Again,
things usually take time, and he had a big week. 3 for 10 on the power play, over the 2 games. That'll do the job as well. This Melfort team needs to find ways to score goals, because if they do, they've shown all year they can keep the puck out.
Engelad has 8 points in 12
And for
games
them to
now.
score 10 goals, or 9 goals, I guess, plus a shootout goal when they're there, in 2 games, I think is a great sign. And Trevor Blevins is a happy man right now with his group. He believes in them, and they are knocking on the door. And unfortunately for Estevan and for Kindersley, part of that is because of some of the struggles there lately, in Melville too, I guess, to some degree. But
Melville's got some games in hand, though, so I think I'm giving them. I'm not necessarily putting them in that category at this moment,
but I mean, it's kind of opened the door to the Humboldts and the Melforts. So kudos to Melfort, and again, I always expected them to make a fight of this.
So we talk about Humboldt and Melfort now. Let's talk about those 3 that are sitting in a spot right now that haven't done themselves necessarily any favors lately. I think the headliner of that is Estevan. Again, 1-9 in their last 10, a 7-game losing streak. We talked about they're in 8th place right now. They were a top 4 team for a large portion of the season, and they still have a +7 goal differential, which to me shows something, because Kindersley and Melville above them in the standings both have negative goal differentials. So to me, that shows something. The games that they're losing are not wild. They're close. I feel like Estevan's playing decently well. They just haven't been able to find that spark that they had there before the trade deadline, I'll say, dating all the way back to the trade deadline, basically, with this kind of skid that they've been on, whatever you want to call it. But as I mentioned, they have had, I'm going to say, the hardest schedule over that stretch as well. Does that mean that their schedule at the beginning of the season comparatively was easier? And this is the part that we just hadn't seen yet for them? It was a big test. So maybe that's part of it, but it has been a tough sled for Estevan in the last 10 games or so.
Yeah, and they're hardly at home the rest of the way, too, to be fair. Now, again, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching stuff there in Yorkton. They had it, and then Tommy, they score a get-late tire, and then just 3 seconds literally on the clock, Tommy is just banging away at it, and they find a way. Both Estevan goalies are playing very well, by the way, too. So it's not a goaltending issue either. It's not a character issue. Speaking to Ethan Andrews a little bit, it's certainly not a leadership issue or a belief in the room issue. They just need to get healthy. And strength of schedule makes a difference as well. Again, they only have 2 games in Estevan in the month of February. The rest of them are on the road, and it's still a busy schedule. And I've said also all year that the Bruins are considerably a better hockey team at Affinity Place. Most teams are better, but they're considerably better at home. So, there's that. And I think, when you look at the Humboldt Broncos, what they're having right now, too, is both Matt Bradley and Brady Holdville were unbelievable this weekend. Again, just like Melfort, Humboldt will have a bit of a tougher time scoring goals, I think, the rest of the way. And if they get into the playoffs, they're going to play top teams, and offense will be hard for them to come by again. Now, the thing about them is, again, we talk about a Braden Klamosko team, is they will never, ever come to a game and not play their hearts out for Braden Klamosko. If you ever met him, anybody's ever met Braden Klamosko, you'd run through a brick wall for the guy. I know I would. Just 4 goals against in the 2 games there for Humboldt against Melville and Estevan, both, of course, at the EPA, but still Humboldt with a top 4 penalty kill in the league, or top 3 penalty kill in the league, 84.8%. They've been wonderful in that respect all year. And again, Holtvoda and Bradley combined for a .933 save percentage over the weekend, so that will do the trick. Estevan and Melville both had some terrific grade A opportunities over the weekend to take some advantage maybe of this younger Humboldt team. But I think the shock, and I'm very excited to talk to Marik Mamic about this, but the shock of kind of the trade deadline, that was a bombshell. That was a bombshell that reverberated across Canada. People were like, what is going on there in Humboldt? And we talked
Humboldt
about
is the most followed hockey team in junior hockey.
Well,
so people saw that.
One of them,
a lot of people saw that.
Yeah, one of them for sure. Well, that's one of the beautiful things about our league, is that we got a bunch of brands as teams in our league, which is cool. So, but again, Braden Klamosko, nobody there in Humboldt has punted on this season. and they just need to find a way to put a few more pucks in the net, and I think that's the difference, because again, in Bradley and Holtvoet, they got two of the good young goalies in the league. I think Brady Holtvoet is as good a number one goaltender as there is in the SJHL. I don't care how old he is. Terrific kid, terrific competitor, great size to him, great attitude to him, great family, and he's kind of got it all. And he's from Humboldt, cares about Humboldt too. So again, he'll be relied on the rest of the way for sure if the Broncos are going to try to sneak in here.
For sure. And of course, Humboldt with the win over the Melville Millionaires, they're in this discussion as well. Melfort with the wins over Kindersley. So the Kindersley and Melville are in this discussion as well. But it's been a very, very interesting couple of weeks, because I think, again, I'm going to go back about 2 weeks on this show. I think we had a pretty decent feeling that we had the 8 playoff teams. They might switch spots here and there, but I feel like we had a pretty decent feeling that the 8 teams that are in a spot right now are the 8 teams that we're going to have. It was close, but there was a pretty decent sense of that. Completely throw that out the window now. That is in the trash. There are 10 teams that could make the playoffs one more time, and this next, like I said, 12 or 11 to 14 games is going to be a roller coaster, and we might see teams move in and out of playoff spots multiple times at this point before the season is over.
Could I hit on a couple comments here quickly?
Yes, comments.
A couple comments. One from Sandy Wilson Brown. I'm remiss. You're right. Like on the Friday game, especially at the Whitney Forum, Charlie Tritt was ridiculous, and Weyburn played very, very well. And it was vintage Charlie, because I don't think the Bombers played particularly great. Found a way to win. We're talking about they just find a way to win. But Charlie was stunning, vintage Charlie Tritt. So kudos. Dom McInnes said Stars always have trouble with Warman and D. I've talked about this a few times. Last year, the best games that I called were Notre Dame in Battlefords, and a couple crazy rallies both ways. And so that's always fun. I wouldn't say always. There were years where Notre Dame just couldn't get a sniff at the ACC, but last couple of years, I would say Spencer Borsos had Battlefords' number for whatever reason. He was ridiculous there. And a couple other ones, obviously our great graphics guy, Kelly Lewick, talking about Tommy Reese blocking shots. I'll have to get that stat for Insider.
Block shots?
I can find the block shots.
Get it.
And Tommy is a Hoover. Obviously, other guys that I think about in that category, Josh Carman is the number one to me. Tommy's a machine that way as well. Obviously, Vinny P is a great shot blocker, but he's also enormous, so that helps him, I'm sure. I'm sure Cohen Loney blocked some shots just by accident there.
Yeah, just he's in the way.
Because he's 8 foot tall. Obviously, our boy Jeremy Corrigan, who's in Italy.
He's in Milan.
Milano. Are you having some wine and some pasta there?
Well, I just said in the YouTube chat right now, I said, "Hey, Corgs, how's the spaghetti?"
How's the spaghetti? There you go. He's doing some work for the Olympics and cool stuff.
And no big deal. No big deal.
And great SJHL alumni and just all around incredible human being, Caleb Dahlgren. Is also in Italy, because a bunch of his clients, he's a physiotherapist now, a bunch of his clients are at the Olympics too.
Nice.
So I was talking to him a little bit. Obviously, go read his book if you haven't already.
Oh man, it's
if
good.
you haven't already, I don't know what rock you're living under.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Incredible dude and great book. So make sure you go read Caleb Dahlgren's book.
Jeremy, if you see Caleb Dahlgren, say hello.
Well, I was trying to hook them up to get an interview.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But I mean, I'm still working on getting a little interview with Caleb. So we'll see.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, thanks for checking on the comments there. We got lots going on. The YouTube chat is popping.
Popping.
So make sure you hit that up. And if you're on Facebook, I just see Ethan Musqua checking in saying go Terriers. So if you're on Facebook, let us know what you thought about this weekend as we continue on our headlines with topic number 3. Topic number 3 being a chase for perfection. Now, Nugsy, I know they don't want us to talk about it.
No.
So let's talk a lot about it.
Hey, Regs, no. Sorry, not sorry.
No, we don't have to.
I hope
we
this
won't
doesn't
dive
damage
too
our
much,
friendship.
But we just want to give a quick update because Flin Flon continues to win at home. They have not
It's
yet
a story.
lost
I'm
at
sorry.
home.
Like
exactly.
That's the way it goes.
They are perfect. Perfect, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Well, let's look at this here quickly then.
Remember
So
the
they got 2 against Melville. Again, coming up next week. Coming up in a couple weekends. They're a couple weeks away.
Yep.
Then they got Nipawin on a Tuesday at the Whitney, which should be a doozy. And then Trevor Blevins and the boys come in on the 28th to end February.
Yep.
And then get your tickets March 6th and 7th. Connor Logan and the Battle for the North Stars.
Oh boy.
Could that be like a 1v2
Yeah.
at that point? We'll see.
It
and then Tad and the Nipawin Hawks come in and then they have L'Orange to end it off. So there's some banana peels.
Yeah.
There's some
a
immovable
couple of
objects.
oil slicks in the way for slipping purposes.
But it's not impossible.
No, it's not. So what are they at right now? They have
They're
8
20
games left?
8 games left. Yeah.
Eight home games?
Eight home games left.
Boy. And it's impressive. Like,
Put in the comments if you think they do it.
yeah, what do you think? Do the Flin Flon
Good thing we got
Bombers-
Mike's interview in person here before we had this conversation.
Can they pull this off? I think there's been some pretty epically undefeated teams in the past in this league,
I've never seen a team be perfect at home.
but not perfect.
No.
So I feel like I remember in the 80s there were teams
Prince
that,
Albert Raiders
that had
or
like
whatever.
2 losses or 1 loss all season long.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Well, that
I've
happens,
never
yeah.
heard of a team undefeated at
There
home
was
the entire season.
the closest that I was able to find was a 1-loss by the Yorkton Terriers. I want to see early in the 2010s.
Oh, that team would have been, that
But
makes sense.
but I think like Prince Albert when they were in the SJ maybe would have done
Yeah,
something
like the 80s
that.
or 70s or whatever that was.
I
Yeah.
know the Aurora Tigers in the Ontario Junior League in the early 2000s did something like that, and then they
Yeah.
changed the rules in the CJHL after that because they're like, oh, you can't have a whole team of 20-year-olds now.
Right.
They used to have like they used to be
Right.
all 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
So the Aurora Tigers, they're in their tiny Aurora Community Center, which I've spent lots of time in. By the way, it's a cool rink to watch a game because it's so tiny. But yeah, they did that. But yeah, we'll see if anybody knows of a perfect one. That'd be fun.
Well, there you go. It's an impressive stretch, and
Yeah.
just
Sorry, Regs.
Sorry,
We
to
love
the,
ya,
to
but-
the Bombers, but it's going to be an interesting
Hey,
thing to just keep
get
an
the
eye on.
job done. I know they're going one at a time.
Yeah, one
there,
at a time.
But I mean, they find a way.
Find a way. Topic number 4, Nugsy, I know you wanted to touch on this before we move on too much more, is the future is W-rated. Obviously, that's a reference to what was that, like a late 90s, early 2000s
Matthew
rock
Good,
song.
I think.
Yeah.
Matthew Good band.
Yeah. The future is X-rated, of course. You make W-rated, and what are you talking about, Nugs? What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, I just think the Warman Wolverines are doing a wonderful job, building for the future. I know it's frustrating to see them, not be able to find their results. Again, they could have got a couple of results there against Battlefords. Again, they didn't. It seems like every time they play Battleford, that's exactly what happens. So they played 7 times already. They're in division. So, I guess they only have 1 more. So make sure to tune in and do whatever the over-under is for goals, hit the over. But you think about the job that they're doing, not only to have good young talent, but they've got good young Warman and very close area talent as well. Obviously, Trey Marcus has been terrific lately. Carter Bergen, Kenyon Unger. You go on the list, Cameron Abig might be in there. You go down their list, Bennett Leibel's the Saskatoon kid. And then they build around. They had Fearson Lindorf just really pop off this year offensively. He was good last year, but he's just popping off offensively this year. And I asked Brett about it's how that's working for Fearson, and here's his goal here. Just a little rush out through traffic, and they always say it's when you get it off, it's more, and just being quick and being accurate is better than having a big shot. And then you pepper in a young team. You throw in like a Trevor Oishi, you Trevor in a Michael Tate who's got a big future, Jared Bigelow. Again, this Warman team, like they could turn around real fast. I'm sure they were hoping to turn around this year, but it's obviously didn't work out that way. But don't sleep on them next year. And obviously, people use the word Nipawin for anybody for the future because of the job Tad Kozin has done bringing that team together. 5 SJHL draft picks, recent draft picks there for Nipawin, among others called up, and the way they built that team. Warman, man, they could be good soon. I
would be very encouraged if I was a Warman fan because of the way that they're playing games. And I think you brought up a really good point, Nugs, with, the Battleford stuff, they're high scoring and they haven't been able to pull out the wins in those games.
What a goal that was by Carter Bergen.
Very good goal, yeah. But they have been playing hockey. Every time I look at a box score, and I say, man, Warman was right there. They were right there in that game. Yeah. And I'm sure, like you said, for Brett Pilkington and company, there's an air of frustration about that. But at the same time, if I were to be a Warman fan in the community, I would be really encouraged by that, considering they are the youngest team in the league.
Oh yeah,
by a decent margin, and all of this talent has the potential to come back next year, build off what they're doing. They're playing, to me, the right way. It's a young team. Yeah. It's going to happen. mistakes and those types of things. But to pull that whole roster to next year, the camaraderie that's there, you mentioned the Nipawin comparison, but like the camaraderie that's there, they're going to know the system, they're going to feel comfortable in the new community. Going into next year could be a dangerous formula.
And so my understanding is the community, the ownership, are still very much behind Brett, are still very much behind the community, the team. And I think that's awesome. And obviously, Brianna, their game day woman, deserves a lot of credit because she's done a wonderful job up there as well. Obviously, Vinny Palmerine has done a great job as the captain, and then we knew he would. And Fearson, obviously, with the A on his chest, too. Again, not a big surprise. But just stick with them, stick together, and it'll be a super fun time. Sure. And they're bringing D as well. And the last thing I'll say is Brett and I were talking about this exact topic, as you would imagine. And he said, I honestly think we'll be a lot older next year. And not just because he's bringing these guys, but he's also going to look, I think, to try to bring in a little bit of experience. Because obviously year after year, Notre Dame, we'd have young teams and we'd say, oh, hopefully we're building for the future. Knowing that a lot of these kids don't really want to be here in the future. So,
totally different scenario.
Totally different situation now. They're doing a wonderful job up there. John Abrametz has been an awesome owner and his group, and I think Warman's going to be a good, very, very good team in our league before too long.
If you're a player on this team, I'm not trying to make a sales pitch here, but if you're a player on this team and you see the excitement in that rink that they're developing around their game days and everything that they've got going on, the community is blooming. It's a really cool young community, exciting stuff there. The facility's so good. Again, not trying to we don't have to go into a huge sales pitch here, but there's so much to there's so much to go on with the Warman Wolverines that it's an exciting future.
Canyon Unger and Carter Bergen were childhood friends, and now they're on a line together.
I'm sure Trey Marcus was in there too.
Trey Marcus.
So there you go. Odds and ends, Nugsy, for the final headline topic. I know you wanted to maybe talk about the Olympics.
Well, just quickly. Well, I mean, the Olympics are coming soon.
They're on right now.
Did you
watch the women's game the other day?
I tried.
Man.
It was pretty boring.
There was a lot of shots for Canada and almost no shots for Switzerland.
Hey, you know what? That's what it is.
It could have been 12-0. It ended up being 4-0.
It was fine. I mean, tough for the mixed doubles team. They were so good for the first 3 games, so dominant, and then had a day off. I was asking curling enthusiast, former Estevan Bruins broadcaster Nolan Cole, what happened there? Like, what are your instincts saying? And he's like, I don't know. But thanks for your help there, Nolan. I'm just kidding. And then they were terrible for 5 games in a row, and then fell out of the playoffs. Anyways, there you go. Nugs and notes. We'll get into it. Where's the dancer?
Let's do it.
Dancer guy. There we go. My daughter still sings that around the house sometimes. It's pretty fun. First thing I want to talk about is the Jim McIntyre Cup. Of course, the late father of our great commissioner, Kyle, passed away very recently. Can we get that picture up, please? There it is. There's Eric Granberg of the Saskatoon Blazers in the middle. Of course, they're so excited about him and Melfort. To be a Melfort Mustang real soon. He's having a great year in AAA. There with the Blazers, Rick Reimer on the left, the president of the Saskatoon Minor Hockey Association, and of course Kyle McIntyre on the right. Must have been an emotional one there at the Merlis Belcher Arena for Kyle McIntyre and everybody. Jim Mack, obviously a Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Famer, coach, leader, visionary. Everybody loved him, and so there you go. The Contacts won the game 6-5 in overtime. Davey Fisher, who's played 6 games already for Nipawin. It's another Nipawin Hawk that they built for the future there. And stay here, play here. Talking about a team that's bought into the Saskatchewan thing too. The Hawks. Davey Fisher's another one. OT winner there for the Contacts. But there you go. The Blazers win the Jim Mack Cup. So there's that, and I'm sure again very cool for Kyle McIntyre. All right, and then the next thing, I did a lot of work on this. So
this is interesting.
The percentage where SJHLers are from. I put together, or I got a graphic by our great Kelly Lewick to put them together. I sent him the data. 94.2% of SJHLers are from Western Canada. There's a lot of talk about, of course, the Western Canada development model, trying to keep Western Canadian talent in Western Canada. And of course, we care here a lot about keeping Saskatchewan players in Saskatchewan. Well, about half of the SJHL now is Saskatchewan players, 16 only American. That number used to be a lot bigger, and 17 from Eastern Canada. Not that we hate anybody from Eastern Canada, I hope. No. Because obviously I'm from Eastern Canada. But obviously me and Anthony Campbell, and think about others. But obviously, there you see the numbers. as best as I could put them together. Obviously, it took some work, so bear with me if there's a little mistake here or there. But I'm pretty sure that's accurate based on rosters registered, through the Hockey Tech system. So there's that. 49.5% stay here, play here. I think that's pretty good given the population density of the population of our province, and trying to make competitive teams. And obviously, we have a team from Manitoba in our league too, so that that adds another element to it. But there you go, Western Canada Development Model is we're in it in the second year, and the rules trying to be the same as the Western Hockey League, which I think are good for the refs more than anybody.
Yeah.
So that there's no misunderstanding about the difference between rules with us and Major Junior. But sort of this is where we're going here, and 94.2% of our league are Western Canadian kids, and I think that's good.
It's great news. Well, I mean, you think of a couple of years ago when we started the whole Stay Here, Play Here campaign, and I think Kyle McIntyre was usually saying that the number was about 33 to 37%. And the goal all along is we want to, not because, like Nugsy said, it's not because we're discouraging players from other regions, but we really know that there's a ton of talent here in the province, and we want our communities to reflect that, our teams to reflect that.
And be able to see those guys.
And see those guys near their hometowns, get their families close by, and give them an opportunity to play at a level that is better than, across the rest of the country. Keep them here, let them, develop and blossom here as players. And 50% now, that's a huge jump in the last couple seasons. And that's great to see. And we're seeing it, like we mentioned just a minute ago, the team in Warman. There's multiple hometown kids now on that team. They just got them.
And more coming.
And more coming. We see that across the board with a lot of hometown kids. But again, it's the smaller communities around our centers as well, which we're seeing a lot more stick around. And it's great to see. We're seeing kids move back from other leagues, which is great to see. And knowing that this opportunity in our league is just as good, if not better, than most others. So that's what we want to see. We want to see that percentage, and it's at 49.5%. So it's basically 50%.
Yeah.
We still want to see that increase over time.
Yeah.
We're not done yet, and that's the goal. But Western Canada is strong. We know that, and we're keeping it that way. So that's good to see. Great numbers.
Yeah. Just quickly, Curtis Stepp, who's in charge of the website, behind the scenes and a lot with the stats in the league, and does an incrable job, and we're so grateful. Shout out Curtis. Mentioned Prince Albert, the Raiders. There you go, undefeated at home.
In the
SJHL in the 81-82.
Yeah.
And Melanie Dawn Evans Domine. During the 1981-82 season, the Bombers were in the Northern Manitoba Junior Hockey League, and they were a perfect 42-0. Now, how about the bus trips for that league? Probably something different. But anyways, there you go. Thank you for the stats there, pop in. Appreciate it. We love to hear from the comments. And again, tell your family to subscribe and like and subscribe. And we love Clark Love and I. Anybody reaching out, whether you're a parent, a fan, a friend, a player in the league. We want to hear from you. So feel free to. We try to be approachable.
Definitely.
So here, we talked about the accessibility to the people who are trying to run this league as a part of the league. It's a family league. We're all a family, so it'd be nice, but we're here to talk to you.
Did you have anything else for news and notes, or does that cover it?
Well, just for fun. An OJHL game on Saturday in Georgetown. Kid named Nolan Keeler, who's from Georgetown, which is sort of about an hour and a bit west of Toronto. He played for Georgetown last year, plays for Caledon this year. Caledon beat the Georgetown Raiders 5-3 in Georgetown. Nolan Keeler had 4 shorthanded goals against his old team in one game between the second and third period. And I sent it to Clark, and I was like, that's crazy. He's like, you should say that.
Put that on the
news
show.
and notes.
That's got to be in
Four
there.
shorthanded goals for one kid in a game.
Yeah. Are they going to be potentially Centennial Cup
They are
bound?
both terrible teams.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Sorry.
There you go. A non-terrible team, the Melville Millionaires, they had this week's Highlight of the Week. So let's check it out now. The Tourism Saskatchewan Highlight of the Week, courtesy of Preston Patno. This is wild. Check it out.
Partial 2-on-1. Here's Hendrickson cross. Ice one. Tyra, what a stop by Preston Patno.
It was just a quick little one there. It happened fast, but a cross-ice pass, and wow, what a save there.
Great save, and also, because it's Yorkton and Melville, it's the rare occurrence of Benny Walchuk calling a game on Flow Hockey
Hell yeah.
in Melville.
Yep.
Which is a great thing because Benny's terrific and he just announced his gazillionth junior game.
800.
Also,
800.
800.
Shout out Benny.
Shout out Benny. And Jason Tatarnik out there in Woodstock in the NCDC, of course, former coach of the Estevan Bruins, just won his 600th game as
600
the coach.
wins.
He said 600 wins.
Shout out Jason.
Less than 1,000 games, he said. Tried to get to before 1,000 games. A little rivalry between Tarts and Mike Reagan. We know that.
What?
What? But anyways, cool stuff. Obviously, Riggs is getting close to 600 himself.
Yeah.
But
Great
yeah,
stuff.
cool for Tarts. We're happy with that. And his captain is an SJHL alumni, of course, Brandon Myers, who was on the Notre Dame Hounds last year.
Very cool. A very cool story coming up after this break as well. We're going to be joined by Humboldt Broncos assistant captain Marik Mamic. So stick around until after this break.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Mister.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside SJHL Weekly. Clark Munroe here with Jamie Neugebauer, and we're going to be joined now on the video chat by assistant captain of the Humboldt Broncos, Marik Mamic. Marik, it's great to see you. I'm super pumped that we're able to chat with you today, and I want to get into your story a little bit, but first off, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
It was an exciting weekend. Let's start there for you guys. A couple of big wins, and you are basically right back in the playoff push now. I know you're pretty new on the team, weirdly, Marik, but that must have felt pretty in a way. It must have felt pretty great for you guys, though. A big weekend for you.
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, I don't think it gets much better than playoffs in February, so I got to give it to the team. I mean, we are working our ass off right now, and we're seeing some results from that. So, you know, we're looking and heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about you individually here for a sec, because I'm sure not a whole lot of people know your story yet, but that's a big reason why we wanted to bring you on. Obviously, you've only played 9 games this year, and those have all come in the last couple of weeks, basically. So can you tell everybody a little bit about what happened last year, leading to what happened this year, and then now your return to the team?
Yeah, so I want to say April, I got into a nice little motorcycle accident there, and then they did me up, and I want to say 2 months later, I ended up re-breaking it again. So, you know, that was definitely a little setback because I was already planning on coming back late. And then there was definitely a good hunk of uncertainty with that second break. But, you know, I'm super grateful. I had a great circle around me, and I wouldn't have been able to do it and be back here without each and every one of them.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously the league is better with Marik Mamic in it, so we're all thrilled to have you. But what goes through your head? You know, I'm sure you're back in Humboldt. You're there skating with the boys and getting ready and working out and doing all the right things. And then, you know, a bombshell comes, and we can't, you know, skirt around it, where, you know, 3, you know, guys are sent out to Flin Flon, you know, Oakley out there to Lloyd, and Striz to Milton, and everybody is texting me. I'm sure they're texting you. What's going on there in Humboldt? What kind of goes through your head, you know, on that day when it all went down there?
Yeah, I mean, just to start it off, I think, you know, they're all amazing players, and they're even better players off the ice. You know, it's always tough when you're moving experienced guys. I think everybody's going to be talking about it, which is, you know, understandable. But for us as a team, I think our focus is on what we're building rather than what we've lost.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I saw an article, I think maybe Blaine Weiland wrote it, if I'm not mistaken, where you were quoted as saying, you know, like you and Skogstad and you know, some of those older guys, like it seems like it's a personal mission from you guys to not only, you know, have a great year the rest of this year, but to set the organization up in the right way, the right culture, you know, to go and win a championship in Humboldt in the near future. But I mean, was there any like thought, like, what am I coming back to here? Like, you know, what was the thought process about I'm just coming back, and you know, it's a sort of a different situation mentally all of a sudden, where, you know, maybe there's a way in which the Broncos aren't, you know, all in for the championship right now.
I mean, that's definitely tough, but for me, my perspective, you know, my focus is coming back this year, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be a better person and be a better teammate. And it's kind of one of those things where, you know, I got here pretty late in the year, so, you know, I got here when moves were happening, and, you know, I don't think it was my place to go ask what's going on, you know. I think Braden and Hanny and our coaching staff, they know what they're doing. So, you know, us as a team, we have 100% belief in them and what they're going to do. And I think, you know, these past few games, it's really starting to show.
Yeah, for sure, and got a couple points in the last 3 games yourself. But I guess that kind of leads into my next question for you. You have over 100 career games in the SJ, including playoffs. What was it like coming in mid-season when everybody else is mid-season form? You've had all this time off, recovering from an injury, getting back on the ice skating, new teammates. I guess you're on a line most nights with Braden Skogstad, so you played with him a little bit last year. But generally new teammates. So what was that like for you to just get your feet back underneath you?
I mean, boy, was I ever rusty. Still am, but
Yeah.
I mean, it'll come back. And, you know, for me, the biggest part that I had to struggle with is my trust with my leg. And, you know, it's only going to get better with reps and practice. So, you know, that's one side of it. And then, you know, the one thing that this whole recovery thing has really taught me is being able to have those patience. And I think that's really translated into my life, whether that's I'm talking to people or I'm just waiting around for something. You know, and you really learn that you take things for granted when you're healthy and everything's going the right way. And, you know, this is my last year of junior career, and I don't want to take one single thing for granted. So, you know, instead of looking at the negatives and what if, I look at this is what it is, and we're going to make the best out of it.
There you go. We're becoming better people talking to Marik Mamic. Yeah. There you go. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's awesome. I want to talk to you a bit about perception. And obviously, I'm from the Greater Toronto area. People say this and that about Southern Ontario and blah, blah, blah. But it seems like it's pretty, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, it seems like in British Columbia, it is kind of a similar thing where people are like, there's the Okanagan people and the Vancouver people, and in the north, and everybody kind of lumps us into this one big province. But obviously you're a BC boy, but obviously you're a northern BC boy. What does that mean to you, to be from Quesnel, to play for Caribou, to be up there? I'm sure the cultural difference when you were called up for West Kelowna, maybe more than it was when you came to Humboldt. So maybe talk about that perception of BC hockey players.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes a big difference being from the northern part of the province, because we don't have we have good hockey players, don't get me wrong, but our communities are a lot smaller. And you'll see a lot of the guys from surrounding cities and near PG, that's where everybody kind of funnels to is PG, and that's where you get to meet a lot of new faces and a lot of new relationships. But one thing I got to say is I thought we had it cold up there. Boy, was that wrong when I got to Sask. Holy smokes. Yeah. She's a chilly out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we taught from a very young age that quitting is never an option. And, you get a scratch, you keep going, it's a long way from the heart.
The worst part about it, Marik, is that all the wind that comes from your area all funnels down into this province. That's why it's so cold here. We get all your coldness.
And we got no trees to block it.
Yeah, we got nothing to block it.
I was going to say, it skims right over us.
Yeah, it just goes and then comes right down.
You got lots of trees, and we don't got any trees. But I mean, my point is that
got a few
trees. But up north, yeah. But you think about my point, I guess, was that sort of the kinship, the understanding of somebody from kind of northern BC and someone from Saskatchewan seems pretty similar, is my point. So that mentality.
100%.
So that was my point. Anyways, we're doing a new rapid fire. You know what rapid fire is. I don't need to explain it. You're a smart guy. Just gonna ask you some questions, and you fire back one word or as quick as you can, right it back at me.
Okay.
Your old broadcaster, we'll call him, used to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can
Rory.
even say Rory.
You can say Rory.
He's a legend. I love that guy. I don't care. Whatever. All right. I'm sure you do too. We'll move on. Okay. Is dry rib Caesar also your Johnny's order? Because every time we talk to a Bronco, they're always like, it's dry ribs and Caesar salad. So is that your Johnny's order too?
I got to specify this one. I can't give you guys one answer for this. So
that's fair.
Morning, it's a Benny Skillet. They got the best brekkie around, and nobody's going to change my mind.
Interesting.
And actually, today, after practice, I had the Chipotle quesadilla.
Ooh.
You guys are going to have to try that. It is wonderful.
That's
Wonderful.
that's my jam right there. I might have to. We're going to Humboldt soon here, Noogs.
This guy has not been to Johnny's.
I've never been to Johnny's.
And if you work in the SJHL you have to go to Johnny's.
Yeah, so we're going.
You have to.
But then it's hard to broadcast a game right after because you're in a bit of a food coma. But that's another conversation.
No, it's worth it.
It's worth it. Absolutely. What is your favorite cereal?
I am not a big cereal guy, but I'm going to have to go with Vector.
Fair enough. One sport other than hockey that you want to compete in the Winter Olympics?
Ooh.
Skiing, freestyle.
Oh, like the slope style with the tricks?
Yeah. That would be so cool.
There you go. So I saw on the socials that the Broncos had a pretty cool-looking Broncos team Super Bowl party yesterday. Where was that? And give me one word to describe the Super Bowl.
It was at Allison's.
Okay.
They're amazing billet family there.
Looked like a crazy house, man.
Oh, it's probably one of the coolest houses I've seen. I barely watched the game. I thought the game was a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, a lot of us guys we were in and off they had a pickle. We were playing pickleball.
Yes, saw that.
And then it was an unreal
indoor pickleball in a person's house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And basketball. You can use it. It's versatile.
Unbelievable.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable.
Good team bonding. Love that. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but how many Croatian words do you know?
I was actually thinking about that when you texted me. I used to when I was living in PG, my family knew Croatian, so you know I picked it up a good hunk. But over the years, I haven't used it, so I could get away with the pretty generic stuff like highs, buys, and hellos and whatnot. But I've definitely lost a good hunk of it.
Sure. It's Mamic, everybody. Mamic.
Mamic.
Mamic. What is the best restaurant in Quesnel? I guess we keep talking food, but whatever. What's the best restaurant in Quesnel?
It's actually like I'd like to compare it to Johnny's. It has that same kind of style and feel. It's called Granville's. I got to say, they are unbelievable too. Unbelievable.
There you go. 2 more questions. What's one word that comes to your mind when I say the name Daza Mitchell?
A brick wall.
That's one word.
That's good, yeah.
I like it.
That's right there, I like that. And the last thing is I like to ask players this question. When you're on the bench, what is the one thing that you always hear Braden Klamosko say?
I always hear him laughing. I always hear him chuckling.
Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
You can't have a bad time around him.
Yeah.
He's always in such a good mood.
Yeah, he's the best guy, no question.
Positive dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of Braden Klamosko and the team, you got 3 really important games coming up, Marik. I don't have to tell you. I'm sure you guys have them circled on the calendar. But Kindersley coming up tomorrow night. Let's start there. Obviously, you're like directly chasing these guys right now. You're only a couple points back. Melfort after that on the weekend. It's 3 pretty important games. What's the mindset right now with the team?
I think it goes into what I said earlier with it being playoffs in February. I think every game is so important. And, our big focus is that when the pressure gets on, we stick to our structure. And, I think all the guys trust our structure, and we're starting to see a little bit more results with it. So I think moving forward, everybody has to stay connected, and we will be better for it.
Perfect. Well, there you go. Big week coming up for you, Marik. We'll let you get back to work, but appreciate you joining us today. Thanks.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. There we go. Marik Mamic. What a great kid.
Can I just say, they need to get that kid on Shorzy or something.
Oh, dude.
He is unbelievable at talking.
He would fit right in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, good job, Marik.
Unreal.
He would fit right in.
Yeah.
Well, we know there's going to be another season coming up.
I mean that as a huge compliment.
There's going to be another season coming up, so maybe we should
Junior Shorzy
touch base with, well, he's a junior hockey coach. I don't know if you know this.
Who, Kizo is?
No, Junior Shorzy in the show. Doesn't he coach?
Oh, yeah.
He's coaching the junior kids up.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, I think Marik could fit in with the senior team, though.
Oh, yeah. That's my point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyways, great chat there. When we come back, we got Players of the Week coming up, and we'll just kind of get you primed up for what is going to be a massive week of hockey games. Stick around till after the break.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You gotta save money by building furniture with pallets.
Get Infinite 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel student deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Are you sure, Stephen? We had quite the. Yeah, absolutely. I was worried for our director's safety back there. Coming into break, he almost choked and died. But he's alive. He's well. And actually, Stephen, get ready if you don't mind on the studio mic back there, because I might need your help in a second. Because we are about to get into Players of the Week. For this past week, there's been some big performances. Let's check it out now. Now, Stephen, if you don't mind, I would love you to pop up if you can, if you're accepting of this offer, this challenge. Can they hear you right now?
Yeah, they can hear me.
Okay. Can you say the word unbelievable for me as we enter these great performances of unbelievable...
These performances this week were unbelievable.
Oh, wow. That's quality.
That was the best thing we've ever done on this show. Thank you, Stephen.
It was in the top 400.
Yes. Of all the weeks, this was a really good one. It was a pretty good one. Let's start with the SJHL MVP of the week. We'll go to Nipawin for this one. Mason Karkachuk. Can't say enough about the impact this guy has had since getting back from his injury. He has really sparked that team, Nugsy. And because of a lot of what he's done, we're going to see a couple of his teammates in this list as well. One specifically is on his line. There's a teaser.
The other one could have also gotten an award, too.
Probably.
Eric Hoynes could have gotten an award.
Probably, and maybe should have, but here we are. There's a spoiler if you're paying attention. We just said Eric Hoynes isn't getting one. His other line mate is. We'll talk about that in a sec. The Borgo forward of the week, Drew Williamson of the Battleford's North Stars. Another one on the line of what we've talked about every week. It's a new guy. It was Cole Hines not that long ago. It's been Finley Klippenstein throughout the year, I should say. It's been Raiden Zacharias. It's been, of course, the big boys, Josh Knidig, Anthony Campbell, but it seems like every week there's a new Battleford's North Stars popping up.
And out of Alberta Junior B, you don't see guys come out of Alberta Junior B too much. Three Hills Thrashers.
The Three Hills Thrashers. There you go. The Super U defenseman of the week, and we're going to the Wilcox product.
I know that guy.
Vinny Palmerine.
I have met him.
Nugsy's met him. Nugsy's met him. I love the picture, too. Great picture there. And I know Warman's got some really great pictures, actually, this season.
Yeah.
So really excited to use the photographer. How do you pronounce the name? Do you know?
No idea.
Keon Song, I'm going to say.
Terrific photographer.
Great photographer. So shout out there. And Vinny Palmerine, 6 points this weekend.
Pretty good hockey
this
player.
week, I should say. Great week and great performance there by the leader of the Warman Wolverines. The SaskTel goalie of the week. I mean, we might start naming this the Gage Roberts SaskTel goalie of the week. He's won so many times.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, though, so I'm sure he's pumped to get this back under his name. 2-0 this week, 65 saves. Both of his wins, shutouts.
Oh, you can't do better than that.
Nope, you can't.
There's some obvious broadcasting for you.
Yes, thank you, sir. That was about as good of a week as you could do. Shutouts versus Weyburn and LaRange. So shout out to Gage Roberts. We're going to the Sask Milk Rookie of the Week next, and this is the line mate of Mason Karkachuk, Sean Shields. Say that 10 times. I doubt many people could. It's a
10 times fast.
It's a very tough name to say very quickly, very repetitively. Sean Shields, Sean Shields, Sean Shields. Eventually, you're going to get caught. But the real deal, Sean Shields.
Draft pick.
Yes, another Nipawin draft pick. The real deal, Sean Shields. He had 6 points this week. And Nugsy, I think you put it in the article, sjhl.ca. Every game in the past 4, he's had 2 points. He's on fire. And he's been another big reason why Nipawin's just been so good lately. And then we'll go back to Warman for the Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week. Could have been the Rookie of the Week. Could have been the Forward of the Week. We didn't give him MVP because, well, they didn't win as many games as some of the other teams. But He is the Saskatchewan Player of the Week, a local kid from Warman. 6 points again. We had some great performances this week. A lot of guys with 2 points a game. A couple with even more than 2 points a game.
And fun fact for Kenyon Unger, also a Warman boy, also fun fact, scored the first goal in the first preseason game of the Notre Dame Hounds last year, the last Notre Dame Hound season ever. So there's your trivia against the Melville Millionaires.
There you go. And who was on the call for that one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Me. It was me.
There you go. So there you go. The Players of the Week. They're out now. If you want to check out the full article, check out SJHL.ca. Nugsy wrote it. It's fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Now, Nugsy, I can't understate this. This is a big week.
You could try.
I can try. This is a big week. No, I can't understate this. This is a big week. So if you're in the area of any of the teams that are the home teams in the next 2 days, you're going to want to get your tickets because these games coming up are fantastic. And as we mentioned earlier with the standings, and maybe after I show you the schedule, we'll bring up the standings one more time because the importance of some of these games is huge. So let's bring up Tuesday's games right now in our schedule here, upcoming. Battleford's is in Nipawin, a battle of the second place team and the fourth place team right now. Nipawin is actually tied for third. They're 3 points back of Battleford. So this is a big game for home ice advantage. Depending on who wins, it could have a lot of impact there. Then the Kindersley Clippers are in a Nutrient Division battle against the Humboldt Broncos. Again, Humboldt is 2 points back of Kindersley right now. Humboldt's in 9th. Kindersley's in 6th. There's only 2 points separating them. A win here would move Humboldt into a playoff spot, would move Estevan out of a playoff spot if Humboldt were to win this game. So a lot is riding on this game, and there's going to be some scoreboard watching, I'm sure, as Estevan's not in action tomorrow.
Drew might send Schneids a gift basket or something here.
Yeah, some sort of yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's too early for the gift basket.
It could be important though. And then the Warman Wolverines and Larange Ice Wolves are going to be playing a game as well. Two very good young rosters. It's going to be an exciting one there. And then as we move to Wednesday, the Yorkton Terriers and the Weyburn Red Wings. Holy cow.
That'll be good.
Yorkton's in 3rd place, as I mentioned, tied with Nipawin right now. Weyburn is in 5th place, 2 points back. So a win for Weyburn would move them back into a tie. A win for Yorkton, would, depending on what happens with Nipawin tonight, would give them 3rd place.
And Cody, if Fiesel's not available, my phone is ready.
Yeah, Nugsy's on a win streak with the Weyburn Red Wings as a broadcaster.
And Emery's like, you can't go. We're gonna find a way to keep you now.
Emery Lawson's gonna come to your house and slash your tires so you can't drive to Weyburn.
I do need to get my car fixed, actually.
Yeah, well, then maybe that'll be a catalyst for it. The Estevan Bruins will be in Melfort, and again, to reiterate how important that game is, the Melfort Mustangs are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. They are 5 points back of Estevan right now for a playoff spot. If they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to have to pass a team like Estevan. So if a Melfort win would result in them being just 3 points back. So let's bring up the league standings one more time as I kind of just show you, again, the importance of all this. Flin Flon, 68 points, securely in 1st for now. Battleford, 61 points, securely in 2nd for now. After that, it is a crapshoot. The Yorkton Terriers, Nipawin Hawks, Weyburn Red Wings, they're basically all tied at the moment. Kindersley then in the 6-10 battle. Kindersley's at 46. Melville Estevan tied with 45. Of course, Melville has games in hand. The Humboldt Broncos at 44 are just on the outside of a playoff spot. And then Melfort only 5 points back of a playoff spot. Nugsy, I'm flabbergasted. The next couple days are going to be massive, and then the weekend's big too, but we'll talk more about the weekend on SJHL Insider.
Flabbergasted.
It's an insane time, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Every game matters. Even Warman Larange right now, I'm really excited to see what happens in that game because of how young these teams are and how well they've been playing lately, despite losing games. I feel like they've taken a step, I feel like, in their development process. So I'm really excited to see that game too. But man, these playoff implications are driving me wild right now. Thoughts?
I can feel the wildness.
Can you?
I can feel
hope
it.
So.
Yeah. And
what is it, Steven? My wildness right now is?
Unbelievable!
I maintain that's the best thing we've ever done on the show.
It's the top 4 or 500.
Yeah.
Battleford's Nipawin, both those teams, I see them as pretty similar. Nipawin maybe keeps the puck out a little bit more. Battleford scores a little bit more to date, but that should be a barn burner. That could be a playoff series.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me.
Yep.
Yorkton Weyburn on Wednesday. That could be a late round playoff series. And do not like each other.
No.
There's a dislike between the Yorkton Terriers and the Wayward Red Wings.
Let's do a fun
that'll
little,
be fun.
If the season ended today, who are the playoff matchups? 1 versus 8, Flin Flon Estevan. Look at that. 1 versus 8, Flin Flon Estevan. 2 versus 7, Battleford's Melville. Talk about two teams on different ends of the spectrum in terms of how they play.
Yeah.
And that would be a really interesting matchup, I think. And I think, honestly, straight up, Melville has a really good chance in that series, I think.
Sure.
Yorkton versus Kindersley would be interesting.
Well, that was the game of the week, game of the month.
Yeah.
It was a very good game.
That weekend series, the 2 games between them was a very good series. So that would be interesting. And then Nipawin, Weyburn.
That'd be spicy.
Boy. And again, that could all change by
you
Wednesday.
flip a coin in that series.
Thursday morning, that's going to all look different. But wow, if the season ended today, Humboldt's knocking on the door. Again, I still think a Flin Flon Humboldt first round would be really crazy, just given the trade that happened at the deadline. But Melfort's not going away. And they have a good chance to pull even closer if they can pull off something this week. So
you know who wouldn't be happy with that is the people who are involved with the budgets in Estevan and Flin Flon. Driving back and forth.
Yeah, the first round playoff matchup, maybe not ideal in terms of geography.
A couple games this year, Estevan have played Flin Flon very hard. So
yeah, exactly. So if that happens, that would be great. I'm sure Drew Kosher and company have other plans, and they want to move back up the standings. And get back into it. Maybe they're playing Yorkton or something in the first round. Might be a little bit more preferred for the bus drivers. On both sides. But anyways, it's been a great show, Nugsy. Thanks so much for joining me. Final thoughts to you as we kind of wrap up the show here today.
Hey, it's fun. As I said, got those feels in the fields when I was watching the Rivals series there at the Four Nations.
I got to watch that.
And I recommend it. And man, can't wait for the SJHL playoffs. And it's here.
It's here. Like
Mamic was so good too.
Yeah, Marik Mamic. Shout out to him. Fantastic interview. And like he said, it's playoffs in February because every game is basically a playoff game at this point. For myself, for Nugsy, for who's all in the back here? We got Connor, we got Jordan, we got Steven. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Kelly with the great graphics.
Kelly with the graphics. Marik Mamic for joining us today, and everybody else involved in the league and the show today. Appreciate you all, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. One more thank you to our sponsors before we go. We'll start with Cantera Seeds, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Capital Automotive Group, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vaderstad. So shout out to everybody there. Shout out to you for tuning in, and we'll see you on Thursday for an episode of SJHL Insider, where we're going to be wrapping up what happened this week so far. There's going to be 5 important games to talk about. We'll recap you there. We'll give you the preview for the weekend. Did we have a guest? I think we lined somebody up or talked about somebody.
Yes.
Did we lock it in yet? Should
Riley
we tease it?
Kotai.
Riley Kotai.
Who is dominating with the University of British Columbia.
Yes, legitimately dominating. And that family just continues to pump out superstars. So there you go. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a great show on Thursday. We'll see you then. Bye for now.